Hey guys, happy Sunday. How are you doing? Come into the space. Come to the table. Welcome in, welcome in. What a beautiful new moon in Sagittarius. As we mentioned earlier this week, a smudge. Get you some rosemary smudge. Yeah, get in there. We mentioned earlier this week you may be experiencing this new moon. You may have kind of dipped your toes into the new moon energy yesterday afternoon and evening. It really depends on where you are, time zones, etc. What a beautiful, y'all know I love me some Sagittarius season. I do. It's like 2 in 1. You get, sorry guys, I'm trying to load the chart. You get this beautiful refresher. And I always feel that if we've worked one-on-one together and such, that I always feel like new moon and Sag energy is like a breath of fresh air. It's mutable. And I really look at it as like a river. When I talk about how I view the different energies of fire signs, and I think it's great. I think it's great actually that we have Mercury in Sag as well, in retrograde. And I know that it's it's really interesting. Let me get some oils going on. It's really interesting that I understand it, though. I understand how we're all going to experience collective energy differently, because it's going to depend on how the energetics affect your energetics, right? And then it's going to also depend on, like, where am I at in my path? How am I doing on my work? You know what I mean? Like, how's my energetic field? What surrounds me? Right. And so, but I think it's kind of seems across the board with the collective that there's a lot of beautiful potential. And I know it's almost like habitual. And don't get me wrong, I love the beautiful, what would you say? The beautiful, I don't know, spiritual hygiene, maybe, of the pattern of setting intentions, right? And I love that. But I almost feel like maybe we should not go wild. And hey, love and light, please always do you. You know what I mean? You're always going to be your highest and best teacher. Your path is unique to you. Your soul contracts, your goals, your destiny, your different, should we say, assignments, experiences in this lifetime. They're going to be unique to you. So never let anyone else's message or what they are channeling from source or their experience of source energy, affect your perspective. Because I know a lot of people are super excited to like make these beautiful manifestations and all these things. But it's almost like love and light is like, it's almost like spirit wants you to just be with the energy. And the way that I really was feeling it and seeing it, and I was writing in my journal, and it was very much like this big, and there were different synchronicities that confirmed this. And I even offered this set, like we had a private group event, like Yuletide, winter solstice energy this weekend. It was wonderful. I shared some things on Friday, and then my lovely sisterhood of beautiful ladies, they shared. And yeah, it was really great. Thank you so much. Shout out to the universe and my guides and ancestors and source energy that I'm always blessed and supported to get to do what I do, right? To create, to channel, to share messages. Is it not going to load, you guys? That's okay. Here we go. It's a really... There was this, road opener is a thing that came through for me like a lot. Like I was literally writing it in my journal. Rest is still like everywhere across the board in the collective. This energy comes through. And I kept hearing Child, y'all know I'm going to hear a song. Let's shuffle our Ancestors and Oracles deck. I kept hearing, wild horses, you know, couldn't drag me away. Like the OG Rolling Stones version. Down, 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 so, like a wild horse energy, obviously very Sag, but it's a lot of mental clarity. And I feel like a lot of the unexpected adventures, the wild horse, the unbridled like freedom is actually in the mind. It's actually very, I don't know. I almost see, I'm seeing, what am I seeing? I'm seeing like rodeo things, y'all. Child, you already know. No, that's more like, no, I'm not going to say it's not here. Is it? That's more common like in the different South area. But someone like horseback wrangling something, right? I was going to say barrel racing, but no. It's more like somebody is a lasso atop the wild horse. And it's almost like clearing out things that are running wild in your mind. Ooh, this card acted like it wanted to just fall right off the bottom before I caught it. Oh, which be the light. Yes, thank you, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and Team for messages that always support our highest and best good. And we ask that none of the messages or energy harm anyone, you know, always receiving for highest and best good and harming none. I just want to go ahead because we have a cards going out on the table to always make it clear at this table and space. We promote messages of health, wealth, abundance, prosperity, healing, ascension, growth. We ask that ancestors, spirit guides, guardians, both earth and galactic, you know, ascended masters, all those in our spiritual team, including us with our higher self. We'd ask that these would always be versions that would serve the highest and best good and harm none. Okay? Yeah. So new moon, the light in cards that I've been pulling, in just everything. Like I was going to say before, and I'm not surprised because of the movements of the Grand Fire Trine and the way certain things are lining up, that the light is very present. Chiron was coming through. It was like this Bifrost energy. And the picture that I was seeing in my mind, again, road opener, I was hearing so much. A path is being laid out before you, and the way will be cleared for you to take it. And this kind of syncs up nicely with timeline convergence, as we have been talking about that. Look at that. An owl's matching with the owls. And another owl for you. There you go. Be the light. So beautiful. I'm just distracted now because there's a lot of beautiful elements in this card. We could imagine that those remind me in the South of what you call pokeberries that grow on a vine-like thing. These berries in her hair, which also reminds me of elderberries. Pokeberry is kind of like in the family of elderberry in the South. Yeah, it reminds me, and elderberry is very like cyclical in nature. In a witch's garden, it's the cycles. It's maiden, mother, crone. It's also gateways. It's also healing. It's very restorative. Yeah, so I was seeing like Bifrost, road opener, the way will be open before you. But it's more about now, Spirit and my guides, the message I was receiving for this new moon energies, it's more about opening the way. And I was also hearing with this road opener energy, it's like the way begins in the mind. So I think the intentions, and I kept seeing things like as seeds, like you would maybe see Ace of Pentacles, right? Which makes me think of that actually. Not an Ace of Pentacles on the actual card. Yeah. But notice it's in alignment with her third eye and kind of third eye crown chakra area. There's seated potential in the mental body. Jupiter is in retrograde. Don't miss. So that makes sense to me. It's the cyclicality of certain, it's especially with all of the planets we have in retrograde now, including, honestly, I think there's literally everybody and their mama and their dog is in retrograde, except maybe Saturn actually came out of retrograde. Mercury went in retrograde. Mars will join not long. Not much longer. Mars is out to play. Mars is also assisting in the fire. Well, I need to look at the chart, but again, I couldn't get it to load the way that I wanted to. We worked with fire trine energy earlier this week, and it was almost like fire. And when I think of fire, Spirit is showing me a light and a lantern. Remember I was saying in another video about Merlin and his light and his lantern. And it's interesting this keeps coming through because I keep seeing the Hermit card. But next year will be a number 9 year. So very interesting. This could be alluding to next year. I feel like the light was seeded a lot, especially in our mental body, crown chakra, third eye, possibly even moving down to activate. Remember how we were talking about the Lion's Gate, and then we were saying it's an 8 year, but the 8 kind of, the lemnis gate, the infinity symbol, right, goes up over the crown, swoops down, meets at the neck, crosses the heart, maybe dips a little to the solar plexus. There is a seeding, and now I feel like these seeds will bear huge fruits next year. And not just in a way of like, oh, we have, the spring, and then we toil, and then we have the I'm talking about in a way of, it's been 9 years building up to this level of harvest, or it's been a decade. I don't know. There's something about this year of the 9. Now I'm also hearing that we are the something of 9. Who is it? Is it Pixie? What's her name? She's a channeler. She channels these guides called the 9s. I don't know, guys. I feel like this is a big road opening to segue into, and mind you, let's always flip ourselves back off of being highly conditioned by the Gregorian calendar. What I'm seeing is more like in the springtime of next year, when the earth awakens to get ready, even maybe Imbolg, where like the light is more returning, the belly is very pregnant, spring is so close to call. I think we are going to have a colder winter. Well, for us anyway, I'm just foreseeing that, but it's important. It's important that Sagittarius season is a road opener, and I'm seeing Bifrost. I'm seeing Sagittarius mutable fire being very much like cleansing. It's almost like this opalescent, like this iridescent. It's all the colors, and it makes me think of like the rainbow dragon, is it Quetzalcoatl? I hope I'm not butchering that. The feathered rainbow one, which makes me think of the Year of the Dragons. It's a lot of things are being brought together. I'm seeing someone reweaving a tapestry on a loom to accommodate for all that has been seeded. I just heard from Spirit, we're going to need a whole new color palette. I heard from Spirit. There's a lot of, I think, personal truths that will receive a lot of mental clarity, possibly reassessing, realigning. Again, I hear recognizing. A lot of this has to do with the mental body, but it has to do with, I don't know, I'm hearing, I know that I know, and don't forget that the North Node in Aries was a big focus of the trine that brought us up to this new moon, which is now amplifying this beautiful Sagittarius energy. Not for nothing also, this new moon has a huge conjunction with a royal fixed star called Antares. Which again, I'm talking about these grand fire trines, but Antares, and this very tight conjunction with the new moon is also very, very tight into this grand fire trine, which involves, again, North Node in Aries, which I was going to say. I think in Mars, isn't it? And then Mars is in Leo. Ciao. Sun in Sagittarius. Woo! Moon, it's a lot of fire. On a lower vibration, there's a lot of duality, okay? There's a lot of, as timelines converge, it also means remember we talked about it's like pulling two bubbles apart. I'm hearing like a pop. I heard pop goes the weasel. And then it's speeding up. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know. That has something to do with, I'm hearing, carry on our wayward son. It's something about keep facing forward. Now I'm hearing, what is it? Keep moving forward. That's our motto. Isn't that from a Disney movie? Meet the Robinsons. Okay, Spirit is giving me these flashes of all kind of things to explain the convergence of timelines, and in our understanding, love and light, you have to understand that requires us a lot of things to let go, other things to fall by the wayside, to go on a different path. And perhaps, even though we mourn and we grieve these things, that is part of the process, but we can't give our energy to all things at once. We can't experience all timelines at once. Spirit said, not yet. Okay, Spirit. we contracted to be in this human body, in this incarnation. And perhaps, the human experience, of course, well, it's always continuing to evolve. Of course it will. And it is ascending. But right now, it's like we can't do all the timelines at once. I wouldn't suggest it. Your mental health will not sustain that very well. But interesting that this new moon chart involves conjunction with Antares. That is a royal fixed star. And it has to do with this whole, what do they call it? The head of the scorpion, the tail of the scorpion, the head of the scorpion. I can't remember, but it's right there. It hovers between Sag and Scorpio constellations. And it's this whole, I don't want to say it's such a fine line, passion, creativity, obsession, control. I don't know, Spirit was saying like, I can make it happen, or I'm going to make it happen. It's like this, it's not weird. It's the dynamic. Spirit is telling me this illustrates how the timelines will split, and it's us understanding in our own duality, but in a beautiful divine balance, because we've been doing so much work. If you find yourself here, you would say, yes, we have. We're going to see things in such a way and just be like, oh, I don't know. It's this, Spirit is showing me, for example, like this witch. Imagine her face, but her third eye is just like this huge eye, and it's just blinking open, and like she could not close it. She can see so clearly. I'm hearing how things really are. And I'm hearing from the owl too, it's like what she doesn't see, we will see for her. So she's in close communion with her spirit guides too, which is a big benefit of having so much Piscean energy right now. I think, I don't know, you're going to have to call it how you feel it in your path. Of course, this new moon has, beautiful influences of a lot of like positivity, of optimism, of kind of like Jupiter saying go for it. But we do have Saturn involved in a certain way too. That's kind of like Saturn in Pisces too. It's like, come on, remember the spiritual lesson here. Okay, sure, you can go for anything you want technically, but is it for our highest and best good? Is it what's closest to love and light? What are you going for? Like, and where are you where are you pursuing those intentions? Where are the intentions coming from? What are they rooted in? It's very important. Saturn really wants us, as he continues to walk out his journey in Pisces. What have you learned from the spiritual lessons thus far? Okay, we need to implement. It's kind of a practice what you preach. I think Jupiter, even in retrograde, is still in an expansion mode. For sure. Sorry, I was just reading some notes. It is interesting. I was just writing a note on reflecting on the fact that it's a leap year and we're almost done with that. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know about you, but if you're energetically sensitive, or if you kind of mingle between the wheel of the year, other calendars, and the Gregorian calendar, the leap year can really throw you for a doozy loop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired for sure. But I was thinking about, again, a lot of times I think about Venus as well, who moves in 8-year cycles. And then I think about leap years, which go halves of the 8 years, every 4 years. It's a very fascinating way to start reflecting back on how things have went down in your life, you know? So anyway, I was thinking about 2020, what was going on around as we were working our way up to winter solstice in 2020, because that would have been, 4 years prior. And child, when I tell you the dark nights of the soul that started popping off in 2020 for me, it's just a big one circled. For me, my spirit guides, I say this sometimes when I channel in videos for you guys, they will circle things like on a whiteboard for me. Woo, that one is circled and highlighted multiple times. Wow, okay, right off the top. Four of Pentacles energy. I'm getting something about being wise and how you spend your wealth is how Spirit is saying it. Protect your wealth. Wealth is health. Wealth is divine inheritance. Wealth doesn't always have to be money, but of course you look at this guy, he's trying to act like, oh, if you got your monetary symbols of your energetic exchange, well, aren't you just everything? And we know better here. Uranus and Taurus has taught us a lot of lessons about what it is that we consider to be wealthy, to be healthy, what it is that we want to embody, what we actually do want to exchange our time, our energy, and our intelligence for, right? There's something here about being mindful in what you invest in. This keeps going back to this whole Sagittarius kind of gut checking us and saying, with the help of, he's ruled by Jupiter, who's in Gemini. But then Saturn is always going to kind of hold the bounds, the Lord of karma and time, the gatekeeper, so to speak, the big daddy. I almost said something else, child. It's like, it's just this, and what have we learned from our spiritual lessons? Okay, yes, we absolutely want you to manifest, but let's talk about karma. Let's think about lessons. Let's reality check ourselves and say, what are you leaping for? Which kind of makes sense because I've been drawing the Fool in my own personal tarot journal literally like over and over and over again. But listen, let me tell you, winter solstice 2020, we had this whole Jupiter-Saturn dance going on. And that first beginning, it was a square. They were squaring each other in these round of squares. And that was kind of the first dose of it, if you will, was in winter solstice. I think they had a big conjunction and it was in Aquarius. And, it's just kind of really interesting to consider, like, if you go back to winter solstice of 2020, Spirit may be drawing us back here and saying, okay, and what have we learned since 2020? So for some, maybe that's why that's coming back up for me. For some, maybe the winter or the fall, the winter solstice going into like after the harvest time of 2020, maybe it was like, oh yeah, I know exactly the time frame you're talking about. But there's an interesting conjunction energy going on in this chart that kind of, when was it? Was it November 19th, with Pluto going into Aquarius? It's just interesting. To go back and kind of consider again, what were the contracts? What have we closed out? What is Saturn drawing our attention back to say, make sure you learn this lesson before you kind of leap in and start to say, I'm going to make things happen. This is a great road opener. It is a great, spirit guides, ancestors, and team always for the highest and best good. Help me clear out my mind, open the roads before me so that I can expand, create, and manifest so that I can, ascend in a way that is coming from intentions that are rooted in the highest and best good for myself and for everyone in my soul tribe, in my family, in my collective, right? I mean, it has to be said, for sure. There's this vibe of knowing that sometimes we can kind of be compulsive about, I want to be right, even to ourselves. I don't want to tell myself what is like, don't lie to yourself, right? This is a whole, do you really know who you are? What is your truth? Are you rooted in the highest and best good of yourself and others? Or are you trying to be right? Are you trying to mask? Are you, lower vibrational Sagittarius frequencies, it can almost sometimes be like, oh, I'm just about to do anything to prove I was right, or I'll never admit, I don't know. It's a vibe. You know what I'm talking about? So that definitely has to be considered. I think it also has to be considered that literally we have so many things in retrograde, dude. And openness, road opener, openness, mutable Sagittarius energy, fire can be we can be, of course, super inspired right now because of all the fire. We can really, I think a lot of times people say Mars and Leo and they're like, action, 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 aggressiveness. But Mars and Leo can also be really like, I am so divinely inspired. And I think a great alternative route to give some of this fire energy, North Node in Aries, I'm a divine warrior. Mars in Leo, I'm divinely inspired. Sun in Sagittarius, I'm divinely enlightened towards the truth. It can be very beautiful for like meditation, for like moving your body, for searching out like a playful child, like a childlike joyfulness. These are all great conduits. I think some people may feel, for sure, it's almost like Mars is running, because he knows he's about to get put back in Cancer to do a timeout to evaluate his feelings and ancestral pattern, all these things, right? Okay, but I think it's great to more so like take notes on what is inspiring, what is the vision work. I always tell people winter solstice, winter time is a wonderful time. You want to do your death work and your shadow work. And then the winter, let things gestate. Seeds are going to be in there. Things maybe you didn't even know are going to be in there. Imagine the soil, right? Okay. And do the vision work. Let yourself have room to rest and be inspired, to hear, to listen. You know what I mean? Sometimes we jump so quickly because that's the pace that society and marketing and all these different things condition us in our little Gregorian boop, 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 in our boxes and our rat wheels. But sometimes it's good to like marinate, a vision board, a Pinterest board, take notes, write down. Maybe you are inspired to create something and you let it, it's like having a sauce really simmer, which makes me think of Sag's card as temperance, how you're tempering and you're pouring back and forth. And it's like, the work of alchemy, which makes me think of like OG alchemy and how it was so sensitive in your little, what was it? Your alembic? I can't remember. And it was just, everything was just had to come together just so, Sagittarius energy is just going to flow with the vibe, right? Let me flip back to this chart to see how many was it that we had in retrograde. Can I zoom in? Jupiter, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like, dude, if you count a few other things, like, it's a lot of retrograde energy in this chart. It's a lot. It's a lot. Even if you add in like Chiron. It's a lot of retrograde energy. I personally, just being straight up with you, I personally would not like, I'm about to jump into a brand new project. For me, I feel like, do we have Venus in Aquarius yet? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. That's next week. Okay. And also, I wanted to look real quick. When is it? Okay, we will have Mars. Now, Mars will go into retrograde on the 6th. Oh, okay, but doesn't actually go back to Cancer until anyway. Yeah. How much longer are we going to have Uranus and Taurus? Okay, you know what? We can talk about that next week. Let's get back to the new moon. Is always going to inspire us to want all of these new beginnings. But I think with this energy, we could be, again, adventurous in our mind, working with the light, making sure that we are good on where we are sending our energy. Again, we kind of talked in the beginning of the video about like the vibe that I was getting as far as like road opener and mental clarity and all of these things. But I would love to actually read. Oh, I'm so excited. I have Seasons of the Witch, Winter Solstice Oracle will be here in a couple of days. And another new oracle, but it's like plants. I think it's called Dirt. Is it Dirt Gems? Dirt something. Anyway, I'm excited. I can't wait to share those with you guys. Okay, let's read Witch together. On page 92. Let's go. Ooh. That's so interesting. Wise One, which is like a crone card, is right before it, and I flipped to it. And someone was channeling a message I was listening to while I was jogging this morning, and she was talking about crone energy and how it is a big current of wisdom with this new moon. Just because Abraham Hicks, right? We love you so much, but just because you can manifest something doesn't mean it's the best thing to manifest. That's like just because you receive a divine inheritance doesn't mean you just go blow it on anything. What is the currency? It could be your spiritual wisdom. It could be your spiritual or your creative gifts. It could be a monetary blessing that you're seeing in this dimensional realm. It could be all the earth that we have to share with one another. Divine inheritance could be the alchemical current and all-powerful frequency and blessing of water on this planet. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We could take so many, your health, that could be your divine inheritance. So many things, right? Okay, let's read The Witch Be the Light together. Once again from Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle. Take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from lower energy experiences. Absolutely. The Witch card represents the maiden aspect. That's too funny. We were just saying. And then we were saying elderberry, pokeberry, maiden mother crone. Okay, yeah, because cycles. What have we learned? What was the spiritual lesson? And now what will you manifest? Now what will you do with your inheritance? This is the vibration. It's interesting that both of the creatures with her, the moth and the owl, move in the night. This could be things coming to you while you sleep. Okay. The Witch card represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess of paganism and modern Wicca. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, and pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here, she is joined by a horned barn owl, which is the same as what's tattooed on my hand, showing that she is willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has. Okay. Also, I'm getting for some, new moon and Sag may bring in a new teacher, or maybe you may teach more. Sagittarians are teachers, philosophers, bringers of the truth, enlightenment. It could be a guide coming, a new guide, maybe through the spiritual realms in the dream time or in meditation, which is a form of the dream time to connect and teach you. Okay. Respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but she's willing to trust what she feels to be right within. There is a big energy too, because when I close my eyes, and you guys know I always see these visuals, and I see the Bifrost coming out before, let's imagine the witch is standing, there's the forest, she's called to be at her crossroads. She's went past, Hecate's night or whatever you observe, right? We've come through, and now we're present. The road unfolds before us. The timeline has converged. Here we are, right? You may see Diana or Artemis, some sort of goddess form, shooting a bow and arrow to clear. There's something about justice, clarity, mental clarity, clearing your path. But it's like, don't. Okay, y'all, because my guides are silly. What the fuck? Okay, they said don't talk to us like that. Hold on, let me get some incense. I heard, don't turn around. Uh-oh, you know what I'm talking about. The guide said, maybe it's your brain. Maybe we give you messages and your brain is just some like ADD, weird autistic. And the brain says, compute message from spirit. And then it shoots out a weird song. Maybe that's what it is. Listen, I'm burning cinnamon incense. This month of all months, if you do not take your pretty little self to your doorway, our love and light, your beautiful, your handsome self to your doorway and blow some cinnamon across and set the intention to have abundance in your life. Okay, it's a big one. This new moon is a big one. Okay? Spiritual hygiene this month is of the utmost importance. We want Antares to bless us and strengthen us in this new moon cycle as it unfolds with this beautiful energy of Sagittarius. We do not want Antares and all this retrograde energy to work against it. We don't want to feel ourselves falling down on the shadow side of all of this fire and this frequency, right? Okay, spiritual hygiene is important. Energetic boundaries are important. But listen, so I was seeing like she's out there, she got her owl on her shoulder. She's looking, right? Spirit is like, don't turn around and look backwards. I'm not a religious person, but I mean, all of the different texts have wisdom for us, right? And it's like very Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, do not keep trying to look back. Because it's almost like a quantum effect of entanglement. When you look back, you're almost caught. Okay, how am I seeing? There's an artistic name for those type of drawings, but I'm seeing in Harry Potter where if you don't pay attention, the stairways keep shifting. You have to keep your eyes on the prize. It's very Chariot. It's very, I've got to keep looking forward. Weren't we were saying that to me? Always keep moving forward, because the timelines get warbled if your intention is not pure and clear and true. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect. No, it's the intention in the heart of where you're going, your soul purpose, the how do we say spirit? Okay, spirit is saying, and it's not even so much that if you don't make the exact perfect choice, you're just going to fucking fall right off the damn Bifrost. It's not like that. It's like love and light. Spirit is saying, tell them we love them. We love them. We love you. We are you. You are us. We are with you. Okay. We love you. The thing is the intention in your heart that guides you. It's kind of like, Spirit is saying Harry Potter didn't even know he was trying to get no Philosopher's Stone. But what was it? The stone goes to the one who doesn't want it and has to do it's because their heart is pure. They never would have been seeking it, and that's why they're the one to have it, etc. It's much like this, Spirit is saying. And it's not that to stay on the Bifrost, to stay on that highest frequency, the timeline of convergence. And it's not even when the timelines are falling behind you and the people are not speaking to you as much, it's keep looking forward. There's something about your spirit team will work on clearing the path for you at all times. I'm hearing, I've got your, what do they say? I got your 6. I've got your 6. What the? I don't know. Shout out to, I have some friends that serve. Am I saying that right? Am I fucking that up? I got your 6. You're being well looked after. It's about the energetic frequency that you're trying to establish when you make your choices. Because they may not all be perfect. And some of those soul contracts may have been lessons you signed up to take a little, side quest. But it's also about like, again, we can't keep looking backwards. It's like, it's not the time for that right now because timelines, manifestations. Pluto in Aquarius, age of Aquarius, all of these Uranian frequencies. And a lot of things also shifting to air. It's like, I'm hearing a song. Dun-dun-dun, through the wire. Fortunes to be with you. What is it? I'm through the wire. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. I keep hearing that, and it's like Uranian. Things are moving so quickly through the air. I'm seeing like vibration on a phone line, but it's like a lightning bolt of energetic frequency through that wire, through the air, Wi-Fi. That's how quick things can manifest right now. So it's just really important that you stay focused, okay? And take good care. Again, seeking mental clarity, doing things that help you stay calmly rooted and focused, okay? Clarity of intentions, yeah, super important. And it's not like, well, what if I make the wrong choice? You can't make the wrong choice if you're rooted in the proper intention. You know what I'm saying? Okay. No matter what is happening, shut up. Spirit, wild. I just love it. And it's like if you don't live this path, you can't explain it to other people, but I love it. Listen, no matter what is happening to you or around you, you have a choice. What? Spirit. Choose not to be pulled into the dramas. It said, oh, shoot. That's some Shadow, Mars, and Leo right there, child. Don't be pulled into the dramas. Okay, somebody's Nana. Choose not to be pulled into the dramas, bickering, or energies that are just going to limit your joy. Yes. If you're surrounded by people who are hostile towards you or someone else, or you're in a negative situation, perhaps in your workplace, for example, you're being invited to be the light. And if it's possible, again, much like the holidays, if you don't have to put yourself in that scenario and you can choose and you know that you're not going to be able to hold a certain 10-year tier of frequency, don't put yourself there. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that in the last video. You are an incredible person. Yes, you are, who can really bring light. So how can you change the energy? How can you redirect the conversation to love? How can you protect yourself? How can you help the person that is being picked on? Are you the one that's guilty of causing a drama? You will know these answers. Know also that you are being encouraged to shine the light you are born to share. Yes. You also have to have good energetic boundaries for that light as well, right? You know what? I think I'm going to leave it there. You guys, we're at like 42 minutes already. I really don't feel called to shuffle any more cards. So take good care of yourself out there. I appreciate you so much. I hope you enjoy this beautiful moon cycle. I look forward to checking back with you guys soon. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.